one of the first projects that we identified. So excited. So this is our first day of our first project. It's an exciting moment for us.
Today we're hoping to accomplish the best way to set up our sampling methods for the firefighters, because obviously there's a lot of concerns going on with how, like, whether or not our materials will hold up, or whether like the positioning for our like data collection is correct. So
firefighting is a little bit different from general industrial hygiene. The people do a lot more. They go crawling in the spaces. It's kind of like confined space fires. So we're testing traditional sampling methods and having to modify them, seeing if our ideas actually for them work.
Today specifically, the goal is to understand and work out the nuances of the workflow, like how in theory, how we're going to put it into practice out in the field, right? So this is as controlled environment as we're going to get, and still get the air samples and the biospecimen samples, and eventually we're going to have to translate that to the real world, which is a little bit more, less predictable and more chaotic, So we're trying to get all the kinks worked out here before we put it in the real world.
The blue box you saw earlier was called the sampling pump. We're using something called a Gill Air 3, pulls air through that tube. And so at the end of it, you saw was a cassette on one, and then a cassette and a glass tube on the other. But a lot of times we don't know exactly how much an individual gets, say, exposed to, right? Because we're like, okay, for a firefighter, right? Most of the time is outside, but a limited time is inside. So we want to kind of figure out that inside, what are they being exposed to?
Fire department, we don't work with 4-man crews, we work with 2-man crews. So this drill is basically about them learning how to work as a team, get how to advance that line into the fire without losing themselves, and searching for a victim and bringing that victim out safely without getting lost.
We're trying not to get in their way because they're doing dangerous work, and one of our issues is traditionally methods, you attach the pump to the person and then you run the tube on the outside over their clothing. So your goal for air sampling is to be in the personnel zone, so 1 foot bubble around the head, because that kind of gives the idea of what they're breathing.
I had done some research and written some grant applications and actually referenced some of the work that she had done. And then I became aware that she had moved from Oklahoma to Houston last year, and reached out to her and was really interested in participating in some collaborative research studies with her. And so I invited her downtown, and she got to meet some of the members of the command staff, and we got to talk about some shared interests and identify some research opportunities. And
I think so far we didn't really account for how much physicality is going to be involved with the firefighters, because there's a lot more crawling than I expected personally. So we're going to have to adjust for that. Initially we thought maybe in their back pockets we'll put the initial like pumps, and then we'll have the tubing set up backwards, but then there's a lot of gear in the way, so we're still brainstorming. And then we were also conversing with the other firefighters to figure out what's the most comfortable for them. So